Edgar Berlanga, aka the King of New York, took on Hamzah Sheeraz. Definitely did not have a fun time on Saturday night.
Might have been the worst homecoming you could have imagined. He clipped Edgar Berlanga early. After that first knockdown, it was over. In the lead up, he was talking so much trash, and it serves him right.
Many are saying, is his career over? I mean, how can you take a beating like that and come back?
This might be Canelo's next opponent. It looks like Turkey wants to make this fight. So after Canelo is done dealing with Terrence Crawford in September, we might get that fight in May.
We got Shakur who took on William El Camarón Zepeda, in which we saw literally Floyd Mayweather-esque Shakur Stevenson in there.
And he was talking about it all fight week, saying Tom and Jerry, well, Jerry's gonna whoop Tom's ass. And it's kind of what he did.
I think within the landscape of the 135-pound division, Shakur is definitely the top guy.
Welcome back to another episode of The Last Round Podcast, where we cover everything from traditional boxing to influencer boxing and everything in between. Today's episode, we'll be going over the fight card headlined by Edgar Berlanga as he suffered a 5th round TKO loss to Hamzah Sheeraz, as well as giving our thoughts and predictions for Mario Barrios and Manny Pacquiao, as well as Alexander Usyk versus Daniel Dubois, the rematch, and lastly, Bam Rodriguez against Cafu. But before we get into the episode, make sure to like, subscribe, and follow us on all forms of social media. Lastly, we're trying to build up a community on Discord, and you guys joining would be greatly appreciated. And now diving into the episode, let's start off with the main event. Edgar Berlanga, aka the King of New York, took on Hamzah Sheeraz in what was supposed to be Edgar Berlanga's big, his come out party, but more so of making a statement, because the Canelo fight really got the fans amped up about him, saying, oh, he went to war with Canelo. He went all 12 rounds with Canelo. Therefore, Berlanga coming into the Hamzah Sheeraz fight had a lot of hype. Of course, I believe Hamzah Sheeraz was the slight favorite, or I think it was pretty even. But Edgar Berlanga had all the momentum, especially fighting on his own hometown. But, the King of New York definitely did not have a fun time on Saturday night.
It was not a good homecoming for Edgar Berlanga. Probably a nightmare. It might have been the worst homecoming you could have imagined. And honestly, listen, I went to sleep happy because I think my pick was for Hamzah Sheeraz. I thought he was going to win this fight. But I thought it was going to be a lot more competitive, and I thought it was going to go 12 rounds, honestly. No, Hamzah Sheeraz came in, and he came to fight. He was focused, he was prepared, he was sharp, and he clipped Edgar Berlanga early. And after that first knockdown, it was over. So, I was just scrolling IG, watching all the reels of Hamzah's, all the angles of the KO, and I want to sleep happy.
Yeah, I feel like, we're going to see Edgar Berlanga in a clip and a little edit saying when trash talking goes wrong.
Oh, it's already happening. Oh, yeah, those are already circulating. I mean, he brought it on himself. In the lead up, he was talking so much trash, and, it serves him right.
Yeah, it's really crazy. I mean, you brought up a point that you were surprised that Sheeraz got him early. And I was kind of surprised, too. I was expecting Sheeraz to be a little bit more... not hesitant, but a little bit more cautious. Yeah, I really didn't think that he was going to try to come out and try to stop him or land something big. But I feel like Berlanga, it's really hard to kind of like box when you have Berlanga coming at you like full force. So within the first round, he actually clipped Berlanga with the hook, and you could tell that Berlanga felt it. And I think in that moment, that's when Berlanga knew that he made a mistake. I don't know if he overlooked or underestimated Sheeraz, but Yeah, I mean, even Berlanga was very much surprised.
Well, yes, because he's a cocky fighter. That's what I was saying last episode. I think he was thinking that he could beat Sheeraz, and that's why he came into this fight with a different mentality than the Canelo one. He came in this fight, to actually risk, to try to get the knockout, make a statement in front of his hometown fans. So that's why, when he got caught, it was over, and it was all she wrote.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about the knockdown segments, because I'm not gonna lie, when those knockdowns had me going crazy, man. First knockout, absolutely brutal. I liked how explosive Sheeraz was. The instant he was able to clip Berlanga, in the second that he noticed that Berlanga was buzzed by that hit, he came out with a 4 or 5 punch combination. 3 out of 4 hooks landed clean on Berlanga, dropping him. And after that first knockdown, I was all like, holy shit, Berlanga, this might be over. And every time Berlanga gets dropped, he always kind of does the same thing. He kind of claps his hands or whatever, trying to kind of amp himself up. I'm not sure why he does it. Maybe as a sign to show that I'm not that affected by the knockdown. But he 100% was affected by the knockdown by Sheeraz. And, he stood up. He looked clearly dazed. And I was thinking to myself, this Sheeraz can end it right now. And he drops him again with a brutal right hook. Or was it right hook, I believe? Yeah. Brutal right hook, drops him again. I thought he was slumped by then. And Sheeraz could have finished Berlanga that round if it wasn't, already the last final 10 seconds when he had dropped him the second time. So Berlanga was able to last an extra round before eventually getting stopped in the 5th.
Yeah, it was definitely over after that first knockdown. It was extremely hard. I mean, that was a great hook by him. Fantastic hook. Berlanga was trying to do some waist movement. He's not known for that. He was just staying in the pocket, kind of doing some waist movement. Got clipped with that hook, and immediately his legs just went out. And it was smart by Hamzah. He immediately noticed it and, exploded like that, dropped him. But listen, Berlanga did show some resilience. He could have, especially after that second knockdown, that was a heavy knockdown, man. Like, he went face down first. That's when like you're not 100% there. He could have stayed on the ground. He could have just got in the 10 count, or once the round ended, went back to his corner all wobbly. He could have told his corner, "Hey, I can't go on anymore," and it would have been totally fine. No, he went out for an extra 10 seconds. And then got clipped with another massive, I think, left hand or right hand, and got dropped again. And good on the ref. He let Berlanga get some chances to recover. But once he saw, even after that minute, that Berlanga was still on shaky legs, there was no reason to continue the fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's such a good ref, because if it wasn't for him, Berlanga would have been sparked out. Mm-hmm. Like, this was a TKO stoppage. This would have been a KO stoppage, and that would have been even worse for Berlanga. One thing that I want to bring up was the fact that in one of the face-to-face, or one of the interviews that he had in the lead up to the fight, he said that he could get hit with a truck and still stand up and not go down.
Yeah, I saw that. Berlanga was talking that he has not a glass chin. He has a granite chin. Nothing could drop him, and because I guess he was riding on that Canelo knockdown. He got up like it was nothing. Well, not this time, And he was also saying to Sheeraz, he's like, "I promise you, you're not gonna knock me out. I promise you, you're not gonna knock me out." And then Sheeraz is like, "And when I do what? And when I do what?" And boom, look what happened. So if you talk that big game, you have to back it up, or else they're just gonna make you eat your words, and that's what the fans are doing with these edits.
I saw a lot of people, voice their opinions. A lot of people finally came out saying like, "Oh, we've always known Berlanga was not elite. I don't know how people believed in that, blah blah." A lot of people are now bashing Berlanga online. Look, we said it first, man. I'm just saying, man. Like, last year, we were already talking about it, and people came at us about our comments saying, we don't know nothing about Berlanga, this and that. But Berlanga has 16 first-round knockouts. Berlanga went to war with Canelo. He went all 12 rounds with Canelo. Therefore, that makes him elite. And then what happened? Once he took on Hamzah Sheeraz, who was a bigger fighter than Canelo, longer, heavier, lankier than Canelo, that's when Berlanga noticed that, maybe fighting a 5'7", not even like a super welterweight, is a lot different than fighting Hamzah Sheeraz, who's probably a natural cruiserweight heavyweight when he's not in camp. So he noticed the disparity in power, the disparity in probably everything physical. The physical attributes that Sheeraz brought to the ring was very noticeable. I forgot how lanky he was, man, and he made Berlanga is tall. He's a 6'1" fighter. Hamzah Sheeraz made him look small in there. And not only small just height-wise, but small also frame-wise, because Sheeraz would look big, man.
Yeah, I think natural Sheeraz definitely fits very well at the 168. And, like clockwork, people are using this fight to throw shots at Canelo. Yeah. The narrative has already begun and it's already getting a lot of traction. Hamzah Sheeraz was able to knock out Berlanga in 5 rounds, but Canelo couldn't do it in 12 rounds. Oh my gosh. Everyone's like losing their minds now. And it's fueled even more because this might be Canelo's next opponent. Turki Al-Sheikh is buddies with Hamzah Sheeraz. Some say he's the reason why he got that draw in his last fight, but we'll leave that there. But Turki tweeted out saying, next year, 2026, we can see Canelo versus Sheeraz. And listen, I mean, now they have a similar opponent in Berlanga. Hamzah Sheeraz made it look so much easier. Now people are asking for this fight. Looks like Turkey wants to make this fight. So after Canelo is done dealing with Terrence Crawford in September, we might get that fight in May.
I think look, after Crawford, let's say Canelo beats Crawford, after that fight, like, who's realistically next for Canelo? Because the 168 isn't a very stacked division. I believe Hamzah Sheeraz might be the best opponent possible for Canelo during 2026 if Canelo doesn't decide to just retire after the Bud Crawford fight, which I very much doubt it. But look, there's a lot of good. I mean, now that Hamzah Sheeraz is there, I mean, of course, look, I saw a lot of people also say, there's a lot of hype for Hamzah Sheeraz now. I saw a lot of people counter those claims, saying that like, oh, Hamzah Sheeraz only beat Edgar Berlanga, right? So there's still a lot of uncertainty when it comes to Hamzah Sheeraz. I want to see him fight again at 168. Diego Pacheco is set to fight this weekend against Macumbi. So, I mean, maybe the winner of that fight could potentially take a shot at Hamzah Sheeraz, and we can see a more clear picture of how good Hamzah Sheeraz is. Because I'll be honest, I think Diego Pacheco is a better fighter than Edgar Berlanga, and I think him taking on, if he gets past Macumbi, I believe him taking on Hamzah Sheeraz would give us a better indication of what level they're both at the 168.
Yeah, I feel like people forget about Diego Pacheco. Yeah. I think he kind of goes unnoticed. He's like, I feel like, because firstly, I don't think he's like a very outspoken, so he's not that charismatic either. So he doesn't really gather a lot of fans through social media. But I mean, he's doing his thing, and he's ranked really high. I think in one of the sanctioning bodies, he's number 1. So I mean, he's a top guy at 168, and he also, like Sheeraz, he has a similar frame. Yeah. I think he might even be bigger. I think he's 6'4", but he's 6'3", 6'4". He's around the same height, same length. I feel like that'd be a great fight, honestly. Both of them are hungry contenders. It honestly just just gain experience for both of them. So I think that'd be good, honestly. But I don't know if if I was Sheeraz, I'd be like, no, I'm not fighting Diego Pacheco. I'm waiting for my boy Turkey to make that Canelo fight. I want that. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Because I think they should fight at 168 though.
Yeah, to be honest, look, I feel like for me, my opinion about for Sheeraz was, I was a little bit. It was kind of neutral. I didn't have really too much of an opinion on Sheeraz, especially after he lost against Adames. I mean, I figured, he still needed a lot more experience. He still needed a lot more fights in order to kind of prove that, maybe he is at that level, but he just needs a little bit more time. With this fight that he had against Berlanga, I think he's answered some of those questions, but in my personal opinion, I don't think he's ready for Canelo, and I don't think he deserves a fight with Canelo. I mean, he's 26. He doesn't. I don't even know how many fights he has, but he hasn't really fought anyone I feel like to be in that position, I mean, you mentioned Pacheco. Pacheco's is ranked really high, and he still hasn't gotten the opportunity to fight for a world championship title. And now Sheeraz, just because he beats this Puerto Rican dude who was apparently the king of New York, now he gets the chance to go for the top guy at that division. I don't think so. I mean, there's a Mbili, there's a who else is the champion? Or
I mean,
the top contenders.
Resendiz is there.
Well, I don't know about Resendiz, but
you got he just beat Plant.
Yeah, you got Mbili.
You got Charlo. Yeah, Charlo's there.
Well, because that's what I'm saying. The 168 isn't that deep. You know, there's not a lot of people there. So I mean, we got to make do with what we got, because I don't think Canelo's going up to 175.
Yeah, and I don't really think the people want to see Mbili and Canelo. Let's be honest.
I think that would be a fun fight though. Mbili against Canelo, even though I mean it makes Canelo nose. I don't know, like Canelo, it's so. I don't know what he's going to do after the Crawford fight, which is why it's such a big question as of what his 2026 will look like, especially now that Sheeraz has popped up into the scene. First time fight at 168, obliterated Edgar Berlanga. Now a lot of people are like saying, Hamzah Sheeraz, you know, maybe he can knock out Canelo. I'm like, yo, guys, calm down, man. It's a different level, bro. Berlanga is not on that Canelo Alvarez level. We still have yet to see a bit more from Hamzah Sheeraz against a more elite, you know, fighters at 168. That's why I want to see him fight Mbili or Diego Pacheco. I think those two are great matchups for him. But yeah, I don't know. Canelo is in a very weird situation after the Crawford fight, so we've yet to see what happens after that. But in regards to Edgar Berlanga, brother was rushed to the hospital immediately after the knockout, and now there's a lot of questions on Edgar Berlanga. Many are saying, is his career over? I mean, how can you take a beating like that and come back to the top of the sport? A lot of people are saying, you know, maybe Berlanga actually wasn't that good. The question is, who is next for Berlanga? You know, there's a lot of talks about potential opponents for him. What do you guys think?
I don't know, man. I mean, like you said, it's a tough beating that he took right now, so I think he has to take some time off, you know, because honestly, it looked like his face was like broken or something, dude. His cheeks were like real swollen. It was only 4 rounds, you know, so it's some hard punches that he got connected with. So I don't know. We'll see what he does, but I think, I mean, if this does not show you that you have to work on your skills and not just rely on your power, then he's a lost cause, because I think it's clear. I mean, he doesn't have the skills to compete with the top elite guys. The only thing he has is that power, and you know, but with that power, all the other aspects of his game are losing, are bleeding. You know, he's not able to perform. So I think he has to, I don't know, maybe do a trainer switch, maybe, you know, do something different. You have to change something up if you really want to come back stronger and better. And hopefully fight for a world title. He needs a lot of work.
Yeah, he does. I mean, in regards to Berlanga, I don't even know for sure. He's gonna take the rest of the year off, but next year I can't even I'm trying to think of a comeback opponent to match him up with, and I can't really think of one. So, you know, maybe in his next fight, he's going to fight another Puerto Rican dude.
Yeah, he's going to fight another roofer like his last fight, right? Just some guy that works on construction so he can get another first-round KO.
No, look. Now that Edgar Berlanga has taken the L, I mean, you know who else took a L recently? Caleb Plant. They have beef. They have history. I mean, 2026, Caleb Plant taking on Edgar Berlanga. I think it's the perfect time to make that fight. I mean, they both need a big fight. They both need an opponent to catapult them right back into the conversation of being a top contender or perhaps being the next champion after Canelo leaves. So, I mean, I think Caleb Plant is the perfect ideal opponent as of right now, and it should have been for a while, but the circumstances, the situation we find ourselves in has changed abruptly. So, I mean, both of them coming off losses, and you know, it's the best matchup to be made for them at 168.
I think that makes sense. Also, you know, another thing that's going for it is Edgar Berlanga was talking so much shit when Plant got knocked out or Plant lost. When Plant lost to Resendiz, Caleb Plant went on Twitter and was bashing him, man. He was talking all types of shit, saying he got his ass beat and all this type of stuff. Well, now look what happened, right? So both of them got their ass beat. So I could see that fight going on next year. I think that'd be a good fight. There's definitely bad blood there, so that's very, very easy to sell.
Yeah, and I think even though both fighters are on that losing streak, I think the people would still like to watch that fight, and I think even both of the fighters would like to also face each other as well. They've had bad blood for many years now. And it'd be kind of cool if there was like another like added like gambling aspect or whatever, like a little like deal. Loser has to retire.
That's a heavy deal, bro. That's a crazy one. Hey, but you never know. Maybe Jaime Munguia, after he beats the PED allegations, he can get his name back in the conversation.
Bro, he's about to get suspended and get his fucking win revoked.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Team Eddie Reynoso, but I think that was our thoughts about the Edgar Berlanga stunning obliteration loss in New York against Hamzah Sheeraz. Hamzah Sheeraz now has a lot of doors open for him with big mega fights, including Canelo Alvarez. Now going down to the co-main event, we got Shakur who took on William El Camarón Zepeda in a WBC 135 championship fight, in which we saw literally Floyd Mayweather-esque Shakur Stevenson in there. Thoughts about that fight?
Yeah, man, we got in the pocket Shakur. We got exchanging Shakur. And he was talking about it all fight week, saying, Tom and Jerry, what Jerry's gonna whoop Tom's ass, and it's kind of what he did. I like the performance by Shakur Stevenson. I think this is exactly what he needed. I think the fans are happy about him. They're giving him credit. They're praising him. They're saying, finally, right? He said he was going to do it, and he did it. Stayed in the pocket, exchanged. And listen, he got connected with some good punches, man. He was risking a lot, and he didn't have to do that. He could have just fought on the outside and boxed him, but no, he wanted to give the fans a show. So listen, I'm happy with Shakur. I think he deserved the win, and he deserves the credit that he's getting for the performance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me, I was really upset because I thought the ring was gonna shrink. So Turkey, I'm very mad that you lied to us.
Not for real.
No, but in regards with Shakur, that surprised me a little bit. He was saying that he was going to stand his ground, but I just felt like it was just a lot of just talk, because he never fights like that. Never. Like, it doesn't matter who he fights, he's just never going to fight like that. In the pocket, kind of exchanging a little bit back and forth. But he did. He did that, but he did it in such a way where he was able to neutralize Zepeda and just kind of have him like neutralize him towards the second half of the fight. Shakur was beating him. He was landing more shots. He was landing the cleaner shots, the more eye-catching shots, and he was actually being able to do it in the middle of the ring, and then sometimes on the ropes as well, like giving some and then taking some maybe sometimes. But yeah, I mean, it surprised me. Shakur, his body did take a little bit of a beating because this is the first time, we've seen Shakur, take this much damage. But, he did it well. It looked like he didn't really sustain any serious injuries. And, he did it with the sweet science.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was very impressed by Shakur. I mean, people online always bash him about the De Los Santos, but my boy finally beat the running allegations, and he displayed probably my favorite Shakur performance in a very long time, probably since the Jamel Herring. And look, it kind of reminded me of Mayweather against Maidana type shit, because Maidana was throwing nearly 100 punches, had Floyd on the ropes in that first fight, and then second half Floyd absolutely took over and then ended up winning, and then the second fight he just obliterated, or he dominated. Maidana was much easier, and I saw a lot of that same shit from Shakur, and I like the work that he did. I like the fact that he was in the pocket and how calm he was, and how he resorted to counters, and how he was so sharp with his not only his punch selection, his accuracy, but how defensively well-sounded he was. I mean, Zepeda was throwing heat at him, and it seemed that he was hitting arms and gloves, and that's what I really enjoyed about Shakur. The only critique I do have is I did not like how he spent a lot of time on the ropes. I felt he could have circled the ring a bit more, but besides that, besides also getting rocked in the third round, I think Sugar Shakur put up a performance, one of the best performances of the night, and I was very well happy to be a Sugar Shakur fan.
Well, listen, I don't know if he actually did get rocked, honestly. I think he was just off balance, because he got hit with the jab and he took an awkward step, right? And then Zepeda started unloading because, he took an awkward step. Hey, I'm going to put the gas on. He started unloading. Shakur immediately was just back in the zone. He seemed completely clear, cognizant, and he also said it in the post-fight press conference, saying he's like, "Nah, I wasn't hurt. I was just off balance." I think it's true. I don't think he was hurt. It was just a good jab. Caught him like right when Shakur was going to like open up to throw. So it was just a perfectly timed shot and a little off balance. He got him off. But so that's what I think it was. But I was impressed by Shakur. I think the most thing is just how calm he is. He's so calm, so in the zone, so nonchalant. Like it's crazy to see him do that. And now he's being compared to Mayweather because of it.
Yeah, he did such a good job. There was moments where Zepeda was unloading a combination of punches, and then you just see Shakur almost like in the Matrix, just avoiding them. Boom, boom, boom. For me, I think within the landscape of the 135-pound division, Shakur is definitely the top guy. He's the number one guy. For me, it was always kind of like Gervonta Davis, but I think now, we're seeing a little bit of different styles. No, not styles, but a different. He's showing us a different element to his boxing game. This is the first time that we see Shakur Stevenson really stand his ground and do it very well against a guy who it tends to just bulldoze over his opponents, and he did it so well. And then, in regards to Gervonta Davis, he's having a little bit of legal troubles outside of the ring.
Yeah, he got arrested again.
So I feel like now he has to go back to the drawing board, Gervonta, and deal with that situation. So right now, the number one guy at that weight class for me is Shakur Stevenson.
Well, supposedly the fight is still on between Roach and Davis. Supposedly it's still on. That's what Lamont Roach said. He said August 16th. Fight is still going in. Davis posted bail, so he's already out. So we'll see. He can still train and hopefully get that bag. But listen, Shakur ain't the top guy. You know who's the top guy at 135?
Who?
Kelvin Davis. What you know about Kelvin Davis?
Underrated pick,
yeah, what you
man.
know? His last fight was just it was a fluke, okay? he could beat Albright, okay?
Shit, bro, that's a good pick right there. Very underrated. But no, Shakur definitely put his he finally got the appreciation of the fans. We've talked about it before. Shakur, no matter what he did, the fans always bashed him, and now that he put up a wonderful performance against Zepeda, I feel like a lot of fans turned back and they're like, yeah, you know what, this is what we wanted to see. Thank you, Shakur. So Sugar Shakur now retains his 135 WBC belt, and also, Devin Haney, are you watching, man? Look, this man beat these running allegations, stood in the pocket, showed that he was levels above William Zepeda and was willing to risk it because he knew he was a better fighter, so he was comfortable being in the pocket. Devin Haney, this is what I want to see from you, man.
Well, that's how you beat the allegations. This is what I'm talking about. These guys are so quick to just start talking shit, or with Haney and Norman, they're talking shit, they're pushing each other, and Haney and his dad are always on Twitter talking shit or saying something. That's not how you're gonna change your reputation. You have to go in the ring and put good performances. You have to lace the gloves up and actually fight. That's what the fans want to see, and that's how you change their minds. We saw Shakur. People are changing their mind about him. That's how, if David Haney wants to be liked by the fans again, he's going to have to, put up good performances, actually good fights. So, it's up to Haney. I don't know if he's going to do it in this next fight. I think he's going to be running. So
that or getting knocked out. Yeah. Look, I feel like a lot of people called Floyd Mayweather a runner, but Floyd Mayweather was like never really a runner. He would stand his ground and then use that Philly shell and then just be able to weather the storm, roll with the punches, and just be in there like mid to close range, and then his opponents wouldn't even be able to touch him. In regards to Shakur and Devin Haney, they're runners, bro. They mostly use their legs to go in and out of range, you know. And, you know, I think now, like, for me, like, within Shakur Stevenson's performance, this was a really good fight. I think this was a co-main event worthy type of fight. You know, the main event was the main event, and it was a really good fight for the fans. But this was a really good showing on Shakur's part. In regards to Devin Haney, I don't even think we're going to see that ever. Like, we're never going to see Devin Haney stand his ground. Like, if he does stand his ground, I'd be very shocked.
I mean, it has to be against like a Kambosos type of fighter.
Yeah.
You know, one of those levels where he's levels above, so then maybe he'll let his hands go. But one thing about Shakur, a little asterisk on his performance, because they asked him in the post-fight press conference, "Oh, can we expect these type of performances going into the future?" And Shakur went, "Hell no." He said, "I took way too much damage. I think way too much damage. I think I'm go back to boxing, staying on the outside, you know, and be a little bit more cautious." So these might be once in a couple fight type of performances for Shakur. You know, I think for the most part, obviously he's gonna go back to his boxing because that is his bread and butter, and that's, you know, what makes him great. So, you know, we're not gonna see these type of performances very often from Shakur.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking about that too. I feel like just the comments and just everyone kind of like making fun of Shakur being like, "You're a runner." So I think that made him almost instinctively stand his ground a little bit more. But I mean, in regards to that, like, I wouldn't be surprised if he resorts back to his typical fight game. But we just want to see a little bit more of him, like, staying in the pocket or him standing his ground a little bit more. Like, especially if he's levels above some of these other opponents that he's matched up with. Like, why not stand your ground a little bit more? Why not expose yourself a little bit more? Go more into the danger zone when you have the skills to weather the storm and come out victorious.
Yeah, it also makes it a lot more entertaining for the fans, and also, you know, it's another added layer to your game. And I mean, we already know he's a master boxer with a great, you know, knows his range. He knows just everything about fighting on the outside. But if he implements, you know, fighting in the pocket like he did against Zepeda for his future fights, even if it's not the whole entire fight, but glimpses of it, moments of it, I'll be happy with that. I mean, because this was the most entertaining Shakur fight I've seen since the Jamal Herring, and I believe he did a way better job against Zepeda than he did against Herring. So it tells me a lot about Shakur, what he's capable of doing when he has to make a statement, and he for sure made a statement by beating El Camarón Zepeda in the pocket. But that was Shakur retaining his 135 WBC belt against El Camarón Zepeda, and is looking for future challenges for 2025 or 2026. And now going down the list, we had the 140 WBC belt on the line. Alberto Puello, the champion, took on the bogeyman Subriel Matias in a heater in which we saw a majority decision win for the GOAT, Subriel Matias. Thoughts about this fight?
Yeah, man. Listen, Matias he's a champion again. Very, very close fight, dude. It was like back and forth. I was very surprised that Puello was actually so comfortable exchanging and you know, exchanging with Matias. Like, it blew my mind, honestly. I was really expecting him to use a lot more footwork, and he did a couple of times throughout the fight, but it wasn't his main thing. He was swinging, throwing punches at Matias, exchanging with him. So that was very surprising. Also very surprising that, listen, Matias' first fight going decision, he wins. You know, he wins it. And Puello has been, like, his past couple of fights, they've all been victories, but they've been like split decisions. So, like, you know, he's been favored a little bit in the scorecards. This time against Matias, his first time there, you know, he doesn't get the decision. So honestly, it could have gone either way. I'm not mad about the decision. It could have really been a draw. It could have been Matias. It could have been Puello. Really not mad. But I'd love to see it again. Honestly, it was extremely close.
Yeah, this kind of like surprised me a little bit. Just Puello's game plan. Standing his ground and then exchanging with him, and then even going to the ropes as well, and just letting Matias, do his thing, and Puello just fights his way out of it. Yeah. In regards to the scorecard, I wanted Matias to win, but I thought Puello was going to take it. I thought they were going to give it to him. But yeah, I don't know. Sometimes we don't know what these judges are really looking at. Every judge, looks for different things here and there. But it was such a close fight, man. Like, what was it like? Like a few rounds. That's what it was. It was like 2 rounds that they gave to Matias. So it was like really close. In regards to watching it again, I mean, I wouldn't mind that, but it seems like Matias has other plans already.
Yeah, I think he's gonna fight. I don't remember, some white guy. Yeah. In November, I believe. So that's already set in stone, or supposedly. But Turkey said Puello can get the winner of that fight. So because I think he deserves it. Yeah. I mean, I think he deserves. It was a close fight. Yeah. He has, I think, 2 title defenses. I think he deserves to get a shot to regain his title. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a very close fight. First off, get Sergio Mora out of that commentary booth, bro. Because before the fight, it was like the fight was about to near its end, and they was talking about, it's a close fight. It's a close fight. And then after they announced that Matias was the winner, Mora was all like, I believe the judges got it wrong, this and that. Motherfucker, bro, you guys were saying it was a close fight, and now you're saying that the judges got it wrong, bro. Everyone online said it was a close fight. People were saying it could have been a draw, could have gone either way. It didn't matter. It was a close fight, and that doesn't make it a robbery. This is always the big. I don't know why people get close fights and robberies mixed up like that. And Sergio Mora was pissing me off, man. I was so mad at him when he was bashing the judges for the obvious Subriel Matias win, But look, bro, look. Everyone doubted my boy Matias after the Liam Paro fight, calling him washed up, overrated, one-dimensional. And you know what? Maybe some of those things are true. Maybe the one-dimensional thing is a bit true. He did showcase just simply his high pressure, high intense pressure, and his high output. But Subriel Matias is once again a champion, a 2-time champion at the 140. And he is, the man to beat. I'm saying, Dalton Smith, you got a big mountain to climb. Matias is going to put easy work on Dalton. I think he's going to obliterate him within the first 3 rounds. Damn. I think he's going to knock him out with a double hook and then with an uppercut to end it off. Dalton's going to lay down. So, Matias, I think he's I'm very happy to see him back at the championship pedigree.
Yeah, he looked pretty good. I thought he was going to take I thought he's always been known as a slow starter. So I thought maybe in the first 4 rounds, it was going to be real slow. Puello was going to be able to pull those out. But no, Matias started out fast, pretty quickly. A lot of pressure, a lot of combinations, and that's what he needed, honestly. That he needed to make a fight like that. And he didn't let Puello slow down the pace, because Puello, when he fought Antoine Russell, he was able to slow down the pace because Antoine Russell loves to throw a lot of punches as well. But I don't know, something about Puello's style, he was able to slow it down. He wasn't able to do that with Matias, man. I think, that's what it was. It was just a lot of punches being thrown, high volume, and the judges favored the aggression and the punch output.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, look, I'm gonna go back to the William and Shakur. That's how I thought Zepeda was gonna fight Shakur. Just be really high intensity, show a really high output throughout the whole course of the fight. And so Zepeda didn't do that, but Matias, that's what he did, and I think that was very smart. I think he is a one-trick pony. You know what you're getting yourself into when you fight Matias, and so he needed just to make the fight really close range and just a lot of exchanges. I think stamina wasn't that bad, and so I think it really helped him just pull the fight. Mm-hmm. And make the fight more in his favor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, close fight. I'm happy Matias is champion once again, and I'm very excited to see him in November when he sparks out Dalton over in the UK. But that was our thoughts of Matias as he becomes a 2-time world champion at the 140, beating Alberto Puello in New York. And now going to the 175, we had Imam taking on David Morrell in what I would say a robbery. Now, this one was a legit robbery, okay? Don't talk to me about Matias and Puello being a robbery. Talk about Morrell and Imam. Thoughts about this fight?
I mean, basically summed it up. I mean, it was a fucking robbery. I mean, Imam, unknown Russian, but listen, that boy hits hard. He swings with all his fucking might, man, and he dropped Morrell for the first time in his career hard, heavy shot, and he deserved the win. You know, that's all that can be said. I mean, I was crazy to think that they gave that fight to Morrell. I feel bad for Imam. You know, he put up a great performance. Unknown, you know, came to the U.S. and they basically screwed him over. So it was sad to see, but Morrell for sure. Morrell is not happy with this fight, and none of his fans are either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wasn't either. Super shocked. One, is that they didn't give the decision victory to Imam. Yeah, he definitely won that fight. And then two, Morrell getting dropped by the right hand. Morrell didn't look the best. Look, I said it last week. I was giving my prediction for Morrell, but I thought he was gonna box. Like I thought he was gonna be like just using boxing skills, the Cuban style of boxing, and just get an easy, boring, unanimous decision victory against a guy who is just going to continue to go forward. A very tough Russian dude. But I don't know why he decided to think that exchanging with a heavy-handed fighter was the best option, the best thing to do.
Well, I mean, he was on the back foot trying. He was trying to box him, but like I just think it wasn't natural to him. It didn't work out. It wasn't working out, and I think he had the most success when he was going forward, actually exchanging. You know, towards the end of the fight, he was able to actually clip Imam with a couple of shots that kind of rocked him. Never really hurt him bad. But I think, he definitely felt the power. So, I don't know. I feel like Morrell should have gone forward a lot more. I didn't like his game plan of he was trying to look pretty too much. I think he was trying to do these like real fancy foot stuff, you know what I'm saying? And that was the reason why he got caught. He was backing out, trying to look pretty with his hands down. Imam just followed him out with a big overhand, and boom, right in the jaw, dropped him. So I don't know. I just feel like I think the game plan was a bit wrong for Morrell. I think it serves him better, especially in that fight particularly, to have gone forward and tried to actually land some big shots because he does have power.
Well, it's funny because the same critique that they're giving Canelo about Sheeraz and Berlanga, about Sheeraz knocking out Berlanga, is the same critique they're giving David Benavidez. They're saying, David Benavidez couldn't knock down, much less knock out David Morrell. Imam was able to knock him down and beat him. So they're all calling David Benavidez right now pillow-handed. They're calling him overrated. They're like, this is David Morrell is really David Benavidez's best name in his resume. They're bashing Benavidez right now. Do you guys agree with that?
No, I think well, it depends how much power you think Benavidez has. I mean, but I never believed Benavidez was like a KO artist. He's more of like he
breaks you down.
He breaks you down. He throws a lot of punches. He has respectable power, I'd say. You're not just going to be able to walk past his power. Every fighter that he fights, when he lands, they respect his power. So that shows you, okay, he's not pillow fisted. But to say that he has like KO, one punch KO power is also delusional too. I think he has respectable power. But what makes him more dangerous is just his volume and his punch selection and his aggression.
And stamina too as well.
And stamina, yeah. That all those coupled together is what makes him a dangerous fighter and a fighter that can TKO you. So I think if you say Benavidez doesn't have one punch KO power, I'd agree with you. But if you say he has pillow hands, then I don't agree with you.
Yeah, I don't agree with that either. It was just a different style. I mean, I don't really know too much about Imam, but that motherfucker looked like he had a lot of amateur boxing experience probably.
He's buff as fuck too, and he was swinging with everything, bro. That's why he was getting exhausted. He was like gassed, like in the 5th round, because just how hard he was throwing his punches.
Yeah, so that's what it was, and I really do think that they didn't come in with the best game plan. Like, maybe they were overlooking this Russian dude because he's unknown, whatever. But like, yeah, man, I feel like this fight, even though Morrell won, like, people still don't see anything different. They don't see anything different. Like, I feel like, not that what's the word? Not that he isn't back on the winning streak or whatever, but like, I mean, he just didn't perform that well, and people think that he lost. I think he lost.
Yeah, I mean, he's fought 3 times now at the 175, and he has not looked the best. I mean, the best performance was against Benavidez, but I thought Benavidez comfortably beat him in that fight. So, I mean, 3 fights at 175 hasn't looked, as killer as he looked at 168. So maybe David Morrell at 175 has reached a limit in aspect of power. Maybe if he has to have a talk with his team, maybe we have to go back down to 168. Maybe we'll have a lot more success there. Who knows? Yeah, David Morrell definitely has to go back to the drawing board and figure out what to do next, because if he keeps going down this route, I don't see a lot of success, especially if he wants to become a champion at 175, taking on like the Bivols, Better Be, if he's still there, David Benavidez. I mean, it's gonna be a tough division for him to crack open to the championship pedigree. But that was our thoughts and predictions, or not predictions, but our thoughts on the David Morrell controversial win over Imam. And that was the overall thoughts that we had over this Berlanga Sheeraz card. Overall, New York, good event, man. 100 times better than the Rolly and Ryan Garcia. No comparison there. Every single fight it seemed like it got better and better and better as each fight progressed, and it was honestly a very good night of boxing. Thank you, Turkey, for bringing it back to New York. But now we go on to this week where we have a lot of boxing to talk about, and I want to start off by talking about the heavyweights. We got Alexander Usyk, the main man at heavyweight, taking on Daniel Dubois in a rematch. Both of these guys are coming off with big momentum. Anthony Joshua was the last victim for Daniel Dubois as he suffered a KO loss to Dubois. And Tyson Fury was the victim for Alexander Usyk as he lost twice in the run-up to undisputed at heavyweight. So now both of these guys have big names under their belt and are looking to clash once again after their very controversial first fight. Thoughts and predictions for this fight?
Very excited. I think it has to be said that first fight was definitely it was robbed from Dubois. It was definitely a body shot. I think the time has shown it definitely was a body shot, clean punch. But listen, I'm excited. I think Dubois has to start out fast, man. If he wants to win this fight, he has to start out quick, just like he did against AJ. First round, he drops him. He has to start out fast. He can't let Usyk get into his rhythm, because once Usyk gets into that Soviet style feinting angles, it's over. He's not going to be able to do anything about it. So I think if Dubois wants to win this fight, he has to go all gas in the first couple of rounds to get that respect and make Usyk uncomfortable.
Yeah, I feel like he really has to bring Usyk into his game plan. He's the younger guy. He is in his prime years, so I mean, he has to have everything on point. Stamina, speed should be a lot. He should be a lot quicker than Usyk. And he definitely has the most power out of both of them. So he has a lot of things riding for him. But, when it comes to Usyk, man, years and years and years of experience, that doesn't go away. Like, this guy is super smart. This guy is very intelligent, and he's able to think and make adjustments right on the spot. Yeah, in regards to this fight, though, I'm kind of surprised. I really didn't think that we were going to see a rematch. I just... Usyk stopped Daniel, and then they had a few words still in the ring after the fight, and then Usyk was like, "Come on, man, this is boxing." Like, basically, Usyk was little broing Daniel.
I said he was gonna be champion in the future. Something
in
like
the future.
That, yeah.
Yeah. But like now, it's fast forward a few years later. Now, the rematch is happening.
Well, I think Dubois is a champion, no? He's an email champion, so that's why the fight's happening. It's because for Usyk to become undisputed once again in the heavyweights, 2-time undisputed. So listen, he's the number 1 pound for pound fighter for a reason, right? He has the experience, he has the fights, he has the skills. And I was rewatching that first fight between them. Usyk, it's just the feints, man. The feints, the jabs. Dubois just could not get into his rhythm. He could not get into his rhythm, and he just got so discouraged. The stoppage, Dubois could have continued. Let's be honest. It was a jab that's dropped Dubois. He could have continued, but he was just so discouraged. He couldn't find him. Usyk started really putting up the pressure in the last 2 rounds. He started really putting up the pressure, man. He was landing some big shots on Dubois. I didn't remember that. Like it was actually starting to become a little dominating. Like it was crazy. So Dubois has to do something big. He has to do something major early on. If he doesn't, then Usyk is just going to outbox him, and he might even stop him too.
Now that I'm thinking about it, hopefully Dubois has like some type of game plan to go for the body, because it worked well the first fight, and then it looks like since even the amateurs, Usyk has not had the best abs. I don't think he's ever had abs, but I don't think that core is strong like at all. Like I feel like he's very much susceptible, and that's where it hurts the most.
Well, that has to be the blueprint, and hopefully they get a referee that has fucking eyes and make sure that Usyk actually puts his belt line where it should be, not over his belly button, because that basically costed him the fight. That costed him the fight. So very important. I think he has to go down to the body. I think that's one of the keys to victory for Dubois.
All right, official predictions for this heavyweight clash. Rudo, you go first.
I really want Daniel to win, bro. Like with all my heart, I want him to win. But my money is gonna go with Usyk. I just think he's gonna get a decision victory. I think he's gonna try and find ways to just neutralize anything that Daniel throws at him, and he's gonna try to get him into his game plan. Those feints, that long jab and stuff like that. I think he's gonna dominate him and then become a 2-time undisputed champion.
Yeah, I agree as well. I think it would be better for the heavyweights if Dubois were to win, but I don't see it happening right now. I think it's still Usyk's time, and I think he's gonna dominate Dubois.
Yeah, I mean it's very hard to bet against the number 1, number 2, number whatever 3,
no,
top
number
3,
1,
number 1 pound for pound fighter in the world, and Alexander Usyk, and the accolades that he's done and the way he's been able to do it. I mean, he conquered the Gypsy King in grand fashion. So it's very hard to bet against them. Daniel Dubois, though, he is coming off. He is coming in major momentum. I mean, it's crazy the improvements I've seen from him ever since the Usyk fight the first time. So he's been on a collision course, or he's been with a man on a mission to get that belt. And now that he's got the belt, he's got the rematch, and I think he's going to make a statement in this fight, and he's going to go all out. But it's very hard to bet against Usyk. I think it's going to be an Usyk win. But hey, man, don't be surprised if Dubois is able to clip Usyk with some shit, because I have a feeling Dubois is gonna. I'm predicting right now, Dubois is gonna drop Alexander Usyk this fight. I think I don't know, something about Dubois coming into this fight. It's very hard to kind of pick against them too. So I'm going for Usyk, but I'm expecting Dubois to be very lively and showcase a better performance than he did the first time that he took on Usyk, and I'm predicting him to drop Usyk actually. So that was our official thoughts and predictions for the Alexander and Daniel Dubois rematch for undisputed at heavyweights. And now we go to the other card. We have the return of Manny Pacquiao taking on Mario Barrios at the welterweight division for the WBC World Welterweight title. Now, Manny Pacquiao has not fought professionally since he took on Ugas back in 2021, where he took a loss and was beaten very comfortably by the Cuban. Mario Barrios, last time we saw him was a split decision draw against Abel Ramos, in which he was dropped in the second round, or round 6. So it's been, this is a very interesting matchup just because of where we find ourselves. And Pacquiao hasn't fought professionally in a couple years. Barrios is coming off a very bad performance. A lot of questions on him. People believe that he's a beatable opponent for Pacquiao. Pacquiao is 46 years old. Thoughts about this matchup?
Listen, man. Manny Pacquiao's my GOAT, okay? I don't want him to just get whooped in this fight, man, because listen, his last fight against Ugas, I was like screaming at the screen. I was like, there's no way Prime Pacquiao would have eaten Ugas for breakfast, easy. And just watching him just get just see his reflexes not there, see his timing not there. It was just so sad to watch.
And then after the fight, Manny Pacquiao's eyes were so swollen he couldn't even see. Mm-hmm. So now at 46, that's going to be very interesting how his body handles the damage.
That's what I'm saying. It can't be any better. How can it be any better after 4 or 5 years layoff, and now he's coming back? How can he be any better? That's what I'm saying. I don't know, man. It's gonna be hard for me to watch. Thankfully he's not going up against like a Boots Ennis or something, or a Brian Norman. He's going up against Mario Barrios, who's a low level champion. He's a champion, but he's definitely not in the level of the other guys. So if anyone can do it, it's Manny Pacquiao. But I really have no faith, honestly.
Yeah, for me, I feel like out of all the other champions at that weight class, Barrios is the more beatable opponent. But Manny Pacquiao, it would be crazy if he does beat Barrios. I mean, that'd be such a historic win. I think that would be like the oldest person to become a world champion. At that weight class.
That weight class, yeah. I mean, he still has that accomplishment
record?
when he beat Keith Thurman.
Okay,
that's what they said. He was the oldest welterweight champion ever.
So then he would beat his own record, and that would be even more impressive at the ripe age at 46. That's such a crazy age that anyone. That's crazy. Like anyone who's fighting past 40 is fucking crazy for me. But if anyone can do it, possibly it could be Pacquiao. But to be honest, man, I feel like. I think youth is going to take over this fight. I think youth is going to be the key factor in this fight, and I think we're going to see it Saturday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we talked about when Pacquiao had his exhibition against that one kickboxer dude last year. It didn't look good. I saw a lot of people try to, come up with excuses for it, saying, Pacquiao didn't even train for that fight. It was for fun, this and that. Now that he's actually going into camp, he's going to be a lot better, which, it may be true and all, but, Father Time, bro. I don't know how many times people often forget about Father Time. It's unbeatable. It's undisputed. The same people who were saying that Mike was going to beat Jake Paul, are similar people who are saying Pacquiao will be beating Mario Barrios. And look, if Pacquiao does beat Mario Barrios, and that's what I want Pacquiao to beat Mario Barrios, man. Because like you said, Pacquiao is my GOAT as well. Watching them fight, growing up and watching them fight during his prime in the mid 2000s was incredible. So I want to see him win, but my head says nah, bro. There's no way that he can beat him. But if there is a way, if there's a will, there's a way. Pacquiao is definitely a warrior at heart, and shit, man, maybe he can make it happen. But what are your guys' official predictions for this fight?
Listen, I'm never betting against my GOAT. Manny Pacquiao with Freddie Roach is undefeated duo. KO in the 6th round. That's what I'm saying. Manny Pacquiao on top. oldest champion in the welterweight history, and then he's going for the winner of Devin Haney and Brian Norman Jr. Imagine. Yeah, what do you know about that, huh? What, Rudo?
Yeah, I'm going to be more realistic, and I'm going to say Barrios is going to stop Manny Pacquiao. I just think... here's the funny thing.
Barrios ain't stopping nobody.
Here's the thing. I really thought... So, after Pacquiao fought Ugas, there was some time that he, the 2 years after that, I thought he had announced his retirement or something. I thought he was like completely done. Like, I thought he was more focused on becoming president in the Philippines. I think he's a senator over there and stuff like that. So I thought he was like completely done with boxing. So this is a big change for me, and then maybe even for him as well, because like that's crazy. Like, I don't even think at the ripe age at 46, I think it's his time is long gone. Like, it's too late to come back. It's too late to do stuff like this. George Foreman did it at the heavyweight. I think he became world champion at 46 or 45, but he's a heavyweight. Manny Pacquiao's last outing was such a long time ago, and he performed like shit. And then recently in that exhibition, he performed like shit. So what am I to expect coming into Saturday?
You take that back, you rat bastard.
I'm gonna go with a TKO stoppage for Mario Barrios.
When's the last time Barrios has stopped anybody? He doesn't stop people. He doesn't have power. He calls himself the Aztec warrior. Man, he's a bitch warrior.
Well, my prediction, I want Pacquiao to win so bad. But I gotta, I think Mario Barrios will be beating Manny Pacquiao. I don't think it's gonna be a stoppage. I think it's gonna be a scorecard win. But I just, it's very hard to see Pacquiao winning just because of the age and the activity. I mean, even though Barrios didn't look good at all against Abel Ramos, he's still been an active fighter, and he's fought multiple times after Pacquiao retired himself. So I think the activity is going to play a factor. Youth is going to play a factor. I think there's a lot of factors in favor of Mario Barrios that's definitely going to give him the win on Saturday night. But, even though I'm predicting Mario Barrios to win, I want Manny Pacquiao to win, man. I need to see that. I need to see that win from Pacquiao, man. But those were our thoughts and official predictions for the main event, featuring or headlined by Manny Pacquiao as he returns to take on Mario Barrios for the 147 WBC welterweight championship belt. And now we go to the co-main event of that one, which is a massive rematch featuring Tszyu, the Aussie, taking on Sebastian Fundora, the current champion of the 154 for the WBC, in a rematch that was, considered the bloodiest fight of 2023 and a very controversial fight in the aspect of Tszyu losing and getting upset by Fundora over the big cut above the head. Thoughts about this rematch?
Yeah, Tzયુ's finally is given the shot to right the wrong, and I think he can do it. Honestly, I think he can do it. I think Fundora is definitely beatable. I think in the first couple of rounds before the cut happened in their first fight, Tszyu was looking phenomenal. So if Tszyu is 100% there mentally, if his preparation is 100% there, if he's sharp, if he's in the fight, and he doesn't get fucking elbowed again, then I think he can win.
Yeah, I feel like for me, just as long as Tszyu doesn't show any signs of PTSD, he should win this fight. I believe he would have beaten Fundora in their first fight, but unfortunately, that cut changed the rhythm and dictated a different pace for that fight. But now, it's been some time. Tszyu suffered that devastating KO, and then he bounced back after that. So, and he looked all right. So hopefully, he's able to get that belt back. And just continue to be the top guy or one of the top guys at 154, because I like Tszyu. Like, I like him as a fighter. I just like his personality, his style, and he kind of reminds me of his father, not in the aspect of the way he fights, but just it's his father did it, the last name and everything. Yeah, so yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's going to be a very tough fight for Tszyu. I mean, there's a lot of I believe there's still a lot of questions on him. Of course, he beat Joey Spencer, but I mean, Joey Spencer was never a top guy at 154 at all. It was simply a bounce back fight for Tszyu. I don't know, the Mortazalia fight was definitely a fight that really it's the fight that's really gonna affect Tszyu, and if depending on how he's able to bounce back or look against Sebastian Fundora, I mean, it's very hard to tell. Which is why I am predicting. I'm predicting Sebastian Fundora to beat Tszyu this Saturday and retain his belt, and I think he's gonna think he's gonna put a beating on Tszyu. I like Tszyu, but I think Sebastian Fundora is coming in way too hot. I think he has a good momentum riding for him, and his last showing was definitely very impressive from him. And I think he's gonna show it again. I think he's gonna beat Tszyu once again and retain that belt.
Yeah, I feel like for me, I think that's the more smarter pick. Fundora coming out victorious Saturday, but I don't want to go against my boy Tim. I feel like Tim right now should be one of, or if not the top guy at that weight class. He should have beaten Fundora, and then he should have just continued to be champion. And I still want him to see him. I still want him to be in that position. So I'm gonna go for Tim by decision.
Yeah, I agree. I think my pick is on Tszyu. I think he's gonna hunt down that fucking tall, lengthy motherfucker, dude. So I'm going Tszyu.
All right, 2 for Tszyu, 1 for Fundora. I'll be getting the win this upcoming weekend. So those were our official thoughts and predictions for the return of Tszyu as he looks to become a 2-time champion and find redemption against Sebastian Fundora at the 154 division. And now, lastly, we're going to be talking about our final fight, our final headliner, featuring the return of Jesse Bam Rodriguez as he takes on Cafu. I don't know how to say his first name, bro, but I'll call him Cafu. Bam Rodriguez, last time we saw him fight was against Pedro Guevara, where he got that 3rd round TKO stoppage over him. And I mean, look, Bam Rodriguez, considered top 10 pound for pound fighter in the world. I mean, every single fight that I watched this dude in, he's impressive. I mean, he keeps on improving, and he's only 23, 24. He's actually 25, but he's an absolute monster in the ring, and I'm expecting nothing less than a master class performance from Bam Rodriguez. Thoughts?
I agree. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anyone in that 115 that can stop Rodriguez. Honestly, there's literally no one there. He's top 10 pound for pound for a reason. This guy's his skills are like otherworldly. They're just levels above everyone else there. The only challenge he's gonna find is when he moves up to 118. So at that weight class, I don't see anyone stopping Bam Rodriguez. I think he's gonna get a TKO or a KO victory.
Yeah, for me, I've known Bam for a little bit. I've actually had the opportunity to spar him multiple times, and there's a reason why. and there's a reason why that he keeps winning. He keeps surprising some of these casual fans and even some of these serious fans, because he fights in the lower weight classes, in a lot of the times it gets overlooked. But he beat the 4 kings. He beat Gallo Estrada, he beat Sarang Visai, and then Carlos Cuadras. Yes, he beat those guys relatively easy. He even stopped Gallo. No one has been able to stop Gallo. He's always been able to take punches. He's always been able to take 2 just to give 1 back.
Also, Sarang Visai, a tough son of a bit. Dude, that guy is tough as nails. And boom, Bam Rodriguez whoops him.
Yeah, whoops him, broke him down, and he didn't really sustain that much damages. He in his fights, he's able to hit and not get hit. His footwork is next level. The angle switches is really good, and then he's so smart. The timing is there, and he's got pop in his power. Even though he's a small little guy, he's got pop in both hands. So unfortunately, I don't know much about his opponent, but I don't think it should be much of a problem for Rodriguez.
Yeah, so official predictions for this fight. What are you guys predicting?
I'm going for Rodriguez decision.
I think Bam's going to KO him. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I think Bam's going to stop Cafu. Cafu, I'm looking at his resume. He's only got, 14 fights? 11 wins, 3 draws. And if you compare his resume to Bam Rodriguez, the quality, there's a huge disparity in that. So Cafu, he's probably gonna bring in heat. It's the biggest fight of his career, so we're gonna see the very best shape of Cafu. But like you said, I'm not very knowledgeable about him. I haven't really seen him fight, but I've seen Bam Rodriguez fight, and what I can expect from Bam is always a masterclass performance from the champion. So those were our official predictions for Bam Rodriguez Rodriguez against Cafu for the 115 WBC and WBO World Super Flyweight titles. Now, let us know down below your thoughts and opinions about all these cards. Let us know first about Berlanga and Sheeraz. Do you think that Berlanga is washed up, overrated, or do you think that we're being a bit too harsh on the guy, you know, the King of New York type stuff? Let us know also about the rest of the card. Shakur's performance. Subriel Matias finally becoming a two-time 140 champion. David Morrell getting a controversial win. Also, give us your predictions for Dubois Usyk, as well as Manny Pacquiao's return to take on Mario Barrios, Fundora, Tszyu, and lastly, Bam Rodriguez and Cafu. But, you know, don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on all forms of social media. We are on X, TikTok, and Instagram. Lastly, we're trying to build up a community on Discord, and you guys joining would be greatly appreciated. But this was Pablo, and I was Rudo and Asa, and this was the Last Round Podcast. Thank you for watching.